This week in Jamaica Now, Damion Crawford preparing to leave representational politics. He was also in a bitter Facebook bickering with the mayor of Kingston this week. Andrew Holness to make his assets public and his health records too. 4 men detained in connection with brazen robbery near NCB Duke Street, and 700 more cops to be deployed to the streets for Christmas. The details of these and other stories coming up after the break.
We had such a fun season, didn't we, Trix?
Of course we did. Remember the time when we spoke to Miss Jamaica Universe?
Charlene Radley, honey.
Yes! The last song you played on your iPod. Tell me what that is.
All right. Actually, oh, hold on. Can I play it for you?
Definitely.
All right. It's Dancehall Queen by Beanie Man. You know it?
So
you must know it. Hold on.
I'm Carleen Brown, and this is Jamaica Now. Damion Crawford, the firebrand People's National Party MP for East Rural St. Andrew, is preparing to leave representational politics. According to Crawford, for him, politics is not an occupation, it is a contribution, and if he is not allowed to contribute through politics, he will have to find other ways to do so. Crawford made the revelation just hours after a bitter Facebook bickering with PNP Vice President Angela Brown Burke. Posting from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where he had gone to help the election campaign for Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, Crawford said, "Thank God Angela Brown Burke's punishment never extend to St. Vincent. Up here nice." Crawford was apparently referring to claims that Brown Burke had opposed the move for him to be installed as the PNP representative for Northern Trelawney. "Left my name alone," Brown Burke retorted. "Ask Ralph if I know me tell him to make you come." Crawford responded, "Angela Brown Burke, Ralph not even mention you as someone to say hello to. Your influence na pass William Grant Park." At that point, former Junior Energy Minister Kern Spencer interjected, telling the comrades to cool it. Still on politics, Opposition Leader Andrew Holness has signaled that he will release his financial records amid calls for him to do so to explain how he is financing the construction of his Beverly Hills mansion. And Mr. Holness said he will be releasing his health records too. Holness did not give a date for the release of the records. Last month, in one of his many public comments over Holness's house, Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips urged the JLP leader to declare his assets and liabilities for public scrutiny. 4 suspects remain in the custody of the Kingston Central Police after being nabbed in an attempted robbery at a branch of the National Commercial Bank on Duke Street in Kingston. Head of the Kingston Central Police, Superintendent Michael Scott, says the 4 men were detained on Thursday afternoon following an operation. According to Superintendent Scott, the men are suspects with no direct link to the incident established. The police say a woman was about to enter the NCB Duke Street branch with a bag of cash when 2 men rode up on a motorcycle. It's reported that the men grabbed at the woman, who dropped the bag and ran. Meanwhile, 700 additional police personnel are to be deployed across the island for the Christmas season. Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations, Clifford Blake, says the cops will be taken from desk duties, the police academy, and other areas of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. He also says these police personnel will be tasked with public safety issues such as crime prevention as well as traffic and vending control. Jamaicans have been promised a reduction in rates at the Treadways Toll Plaza in Linstead, St. Catherine, as China Harbour Engineering Company races to meet its February 2016 deadline to complete construction of 61 kilometers of roadway from St. Catherine into St. Anne. Transport Minister Dr. Omar Davies made the disclosure during a tour of the $600 million project this week. And according to Ivan Anderson, the managing director of the National Road Operating and Construction Company, the reduction could take effect as early as next week. The officials have promised that the Angels to Linstead leg of the highway will be opened in January and the Caymanas leg in February.
By the middle of March, we expect the entire highway to be open for tolling, but we are going to go through a phased opening process starting in January. So starting in January, the first section of the highway will be open free to traffic from Angels to Linstead. In February, we opened free to traffic from Caymanas to Angels. and also from Mammoth Bay to Unity Valley. So the entire highway will be open free to traffic by about February, and then we will take down the existing structure at Mount Russell, the existing toll plaza, over about a 10-15 day period, and then by the middle of March the entire highway will be open.
The 26 families affected by a massive blaze at Church Street in downtown Kingston are still trying to pick up the pieces. The fire has reportedly left at least 80 persons homeless, half of them children. State agencies have provided some help so far, and assessments are continuing. West Kingston MP Desmond McKenzie says it will take some time before the families recover.
December is not a time of the year that West Kingston is happy because we have most fires in West Kingston during this time of the year. This is the second major fire that we are having within less than 6 months.
We have learned that it's about 40 children who have been affected, 22 households who have been affected, so we can just imagine that it's a lot of families.
St. Andrew woman Anne-Marie Williams wept uncontrollably in the Home Circuit Court this week after being sentenced to 1 year imprisonment on each of her 2 counts of death by dangerous driving. The sentences will run at the same time, which means she will serve only 1 year in prison. Williams was granted bail late Thursday evening after her lawyers filed an appeal in the appeal court and applied to the trial judge David Fraser in Chambers to release her on bond. Earlier in court, Fraser said he took into account the aggravating circumstances and the mitigating factors, but he had no choice but to send Mrs. Williams to prison. After sentencing was handed down, she filed an appeal against her conviction and sentence and was granted $400,000 bail with surety. Williams was convicted last month in relation to a January 2011 crash that killed 2 persons, including a blind woman, and injured 3 others who were also blind. Williams's car plowed into a bus stop at which they were standing in Matilda's Corner in Ligonier, St. Andrew. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at online feedback at gleanerjm.com. You may tune into Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Carleen Brown, and before we go, government officials and members of the media this week toured the new leg of the North-South Highway, which is to be opened to the public next month. Here are some highlights.
This project is obviously a major boost to the infrastructure of Jamaica. It will reduce travel time from motorists to Caymanas to 45 minutes if you abide by the speed limit, and less if you drive like most Jamaicans. But you're going to transform what was the uncertainty of 2 hours plus, depending on how much truck broke down on Mount Russell or whatever, to a normal drive of 45 minutes. It opens up a range of possibilities for development of housing. One could easily live in Ocherius or along the way and work in Kingston or vice versa. So it opens up the possibility of Kingston being fully exploited as a cultural tourism destination. I mean, I can see entrepreneurs moving cruise ship tourists from Ocherius to Kingston for a day tour, thus widening the range of attractions as well as providing a basis for growth of several industries in Kingston.